Instacart, as of right now, and it has did the beta test before, has been letting customers have more time once the order is completely finished. Let's just say you just finished the order, you're ready to go check out. Now it has this little green bar that shows a minute all the way up to 2 minutes of wait time, just in case the customer wants to add some things, wants to replace something, or wants something refunded. That's what they're doing it for. And there's a lot of people on Reddit talking about this right now. I first seen this back in December, and it really wasn't a big deal because I would get it done. The message thread, they said, well, it's because of people who refund things at the last moment and then just go ahead and check out before they have a chance to modify. And I will say this, 100%, I'm one of those people that's done that before, not because I'm trying to get the order done and I don't want them to modify it, because I get tired of people adding 30 things, 20 things, 15 things at the last moment. Right when I'm ready to check out, you're gonna add 10 to 15 more things. So before you even get to that moment, I'll just refund some things and boom. So let's say I'm like 4 things away. Next thing you know, you start adding things on. Back then, I would just refund those added things and then just check out just like that. I never had an instance where a customer messaged me like, hey, could you please get these items, or nothing. I don't know why they even do it. I think it's because they're able to save some money and they're able to add things on. Whenever the trip gets sent out, it's based off of what the trip actually has. So if the trip has, let's just say 20 items on it, 2 of those are water, it's gonna add it up a certain way. It's gonna make it juicy for people to want to be able to take. That's the only way to put it. But when you're already on the order, they only give you 25 cents per item added, unless it's like an expensive item, like an $80 item or something, then yeah, that'll have more money be put on. I've seen that before. But if they're just adding a head of lettuce and some rice and this, and they add 10 things just like that, it's only a quarter per item. To me, that's not worth it. I should be able to reevaluate the actual scenario and be able to say, you know what, I don't want to do this order anymore. It's became unworth it, and I shouldn't be penalized for that. But Instacart will penalize for you calling in and trying to cancel in the middle of the order. I've never personally done that because I get paranoid that they might suspend my account. They might put me on some type of suspension or something I don't want to deal with. I don't have time for that. But part of me wants to cancel the order when I get too many items added on. Now, when I just start, if you add like 5-10 things on, that's not a big deal. What gets annoying is I have 30 items to get, and then 10 items are down, and next thing you know, you add 10 items, so now I have 30 items to get again. That becomes demotivating because I've watched the number come down, and then now it's raised back up, then I get it back down again, and then you raise it back up. It's just, that becomes absolutely annoying. Now, part of me wants to be like, well, think of it, like 4 things is $1. Each 4 things is $1. A lot of times it's not worth it. When I take the trip, it's just barely enough worth it for me to do the trip. Rather than add another 10 to 15, 20 things on, it's no longer good. It's no longer worth it for me. Especially if you want to add some water. I've had some people try to add like 3 or 4 cases of water. Nah. I might get 1. But the people I notice that do this more than anybody are people who live in apartments. People who live in apartments always add on things, always want to refund something, always want to be like, hey, could you get this? Could you do this? Could you do that? They always want to make it so much more difficult on you when they don't tip anything. They don't tip anything. They don't. They're on the 2nd floor. They don't tip nothing. And they just sit there and ride off the hype of someone who actually tipped, who's made the trip even easier. A $28 trip for 10 things, going 5 miles down the road. I didn't receive any messages. I didn't have to approve anything. I just got the items that they wanted. They usually put a backup items on there just in case they don't have what they wanted. Or they say, hey, I want a complete refund on something, and then it's over. Just yesterday, I went to this person's, I was going to go to this person's house. They were on the 3rd floor. They didn't have the meat at the Sprouts that I work at. Well, they had it, but it was expired. So it's technically like they didn't have the meat. So it was expired meat. So I messaged them and said, hey, this meat is expired. They said they wanted a full refund of the entire order. I say, well, you can contact customer service. I don't waste my time contacting customer service unless they're just taking too long to do so. But other than that, they got to call them. They got to do it. They got to get that on, and boom, get it out of here. But that person right there being on the third floor, there was a person, it was a two trip thing. So the second trip, this is what I'm talking about. This is a $25 order. The majority was the person on the third floor. The least of it was the person that was in the house. So I missed out on 25, but I still got $18. That means your trip was only worth $7 and you wanted to make it complicated for no reason. So yes, that's why they're putting the green bar right there for people like that who call and complain and say this and that about this and that. And if you're one of those people, just make it as easy as possible. It's already a underpaid job at times. It's already not worth it at times. And it's already, I'm in Arizona. This is hot outside, really hot. Right now it was 108, okay? Today is 108 degrees. I should have nothing but easy trips all day. Do you want water? I put snacks in the cooler. Here's an extra tip. All of that should be happening 24/7 through the entire day. But I live in reality, so no, that's not how it goes. But that's how it should go. And anyone who lives in an extremely cold place and it's snowing outside and you have to trek through the snow with someone's groceries, the same thing should be happening. They should have hot cocoa for you. They should have money for you. They should have everything for you, okay? So if you're a person on the third floor, just make it as easy as possible because your driver is already underpaid. They are trying to make it happen to get your item to there. So if you don't tip at all, that means your trip is worth like $5, no matter how big it is. It might be worth 10. The highest I've ever seen someone's worth was $18, but they were extremely far. They were like 20 miles out. And this was a $1 tip item. And they had like 20 things on the order. Going that many miles is crazy. Like I can't remember the exact miles, but it was like, if you did it, it's going to take like 30 minutes to get there, 30 minutes back. I mean, come on, bro. That's extremely far for your trip. It's a whole hour's worth of work for a $1 tip. And the base pay was like $17. So $18 in total. That's not worth it. No one's going to do it. Anytime I see a trip like that, I always hope the store closes so you don't get your order. But in order for Instacart to keep customers like you happy, they connect you to people who actually tip well. So that way, this person that just tipped $20 evens it out. And the driver sees it and says, well, yeah, I'll take that. Because they're not thinking, well, this person tipped. Well, some people do. I don't. I don't want to break my heart like that. I don't want to look at you like, oh, this person tipped $5. All right, and this person tipped nothing, or this person tipped 20, and this person tipped $1. I don't want to sit there in semantics like that. That's not something that I feel like is completely necessary. I think it's necessary to see the trip and say, yes, I'll do it, or no, I won't. That's how it should always be. But if you're one of those people that don't tip your driver, trust me, your order will literally sit there until they connect you to a driver that's either A, desperate, or B, which is they're not desperate all like 95% of the time they're not desperate. Or B, they connect you to a trip that was actually worth it, who actually tipped, and you just got lucky because the system wanted to show you some love. So other than that though, that's just how it is. So if you are disgruntled about them throwing that little green bar and making you wait an extra 2 minutes before checking out just so the customer has time to add items, modify, or cancel items, don't worry guys, 2 minutes zips by pretty quickly. While that thing is going, maybe you should check your A and B to make sure everything's separated correctly. So that way when the timer expires, you're not up at the register like an amateur, because I've seen these people too, sit there and, hold on, yeah, sorry, hold on. Okay, all right, we've all seen that. I don't want to ever see that again, because you have all the time in the world, especially at the end of the order. It gives you those last 2 minutes to figure out your order. You shouldn't be throwing everything in the cart and trying to separate it later. That's not how it goes. Keep it separate, get a second cart, get a third cart if you need to, but keep it organized. All right, guys, I appreciate you. If you have any questions, any statements, leave it down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace!